On May 22nd, the only two people running for State Representative District 28 in Northeast Georgia squared off in a tight Republican primary that would decide who would hold the office. State Representative Dan Gassaway lost in a squeaker.
At the end of the day, I lost by 67 votes.
Remember that number, 67 votes. Gassaway congratulated his opponent and thought it was all over until the next day when his wife came home from her teaching job.
And said, Dan, my colleague, came in and said she'd gone to vote for you last night and your name was not on her ballot, and she's in my district.
His name wasn't on her ballot? How could his supporters vote for him if they couldn't even find him on the ballot? Turns out it wasn't just one voter. Gassaway broke out maps, overlapped voting rolls, and found for each one of these dots, voters were assigned to the wrong district.
Let's get real specific. Your district is District 28.
That's correct.
And these people were voting for District 10.
That's right. Well, I realized then we had a serious problem. I don't know how it happens, but it did.
How many votes were affected? It's now up to 70, more than the number Gassaway lost by, meaning the wrong person may have won the election. He is suing.
This election shouldn't really stand.
Right.
The county sent out a news release conceding that errors were made, and we owe the voters of Habersham County the assurance that their right to vote is not being compromised. The Secretary of State's office, which initially certified the election, has now opened an investigation. Habersham County has called for a new election. It's up to a judge to decide. Jake Evans is Gassaway's attorney.
The Secretary of State's office runs the elections in this state. I would think the Secretary of State's office and perhaps the Secretary of State would be just jumping at the bit trying to rectify the situation. You've got an election that was wrong.
Yeah, that's a valid question. I wish I knew the answer to that question. I would direct that to the Attorney General's office or the Secretary of State's office.
The top election official in Georgia is Secretary of State Brian Kemp. He's running for governor, and his office is distancing itself from the mess in Habersham County. Properly districting voters is a county responsibility, Kemp's office told us, reiterating Kemp's claim that Georgia's election systems remain secure. But the botched Georgia primary is just one in a series of problems challenging voter confidence in the state. Last month, CNN reported a massive security breach had exposed the records of millions of Georgia voters for more than 6 months. A lawsuit is challenging the potential security of Georgia's all-electronic voting system. That same lawsuit details case after case of voters allegedly assigned to the wrong precincts. Gassaway says he's found 1,200 voters who were assigned to the wrong voting districts.
Through this, I've learned that there are some serious problems that need to be fixed.
For now, Gassaway just wants a new election, a fair one this time. There is no Democrat in this race. It was just two Republicans who ran in this botched primary for that seat. If a judge decides that there should be a new election, the rematch of those two Republicans could take place in the general election this November. That ruling could come any day now. Drew Griffin, CNN, Atlanta.